What's going on, Kingdom Diplomats? Just wanted to step in here real quick. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I actually had this moment, this idea, this, I guess you can say is like a way to teach and a way to learn, of just using a quick example of how I can convey to you as a human being that you matter. And the fact of the matter that you have breath in your lungs, that you exist, that there is a huge future for you. And I get it. Listen, I'm not oblivious to all the, all the chaos, all the propaganda, just all the muckety muck, right? But you know what I realized? I had this conversation. Who did I have this conversation? Oh, okay, with my helpmate. She kind of said something, and it prompted a thought in my mind that the more that you plug in to negative media, you get acclimated to negative media, and you should know the difference by now, especially if you're an adult. But there's two types of laws inside of us, whether we choose to live by it or not. You got the law of sin and death, which sin, as I said before, means to rebel and commit anarchy. You can't do that in a religion. So I'm not talking about a religious book or a religious person, because that's a law-based word. And you got the law of the spirit of life, which is in Christ Jesus. And if you've been following me for quite some time, you know what those words mean. And so the meaning of words mean everything, because as I said before, everything is about ideas, right? Everything you can point to in the natural is an idea, and even things in the spiritual realm, the unseen realm, and the solical realm, or the soulish realm, which means in the Latin it means to be social, our soul, in that realm also too. So why did I hop on here real quick? So let me turn this around. Okay, so I want you guys to take a look at that. That is a canister of a vacuum. That also is the arm of a vacuum. Obviously, all of you know what a vacuum is. Now, I don't have the actual base. It's on the other side. So, why did I show you guys that? So, as I was just doing we had a big job today. Our team had a big job. We did a great job today. Tough job it was, but we finished strong and finished with our standard of excellence as the company that I like to walk out in. Even though my name is on ownership, I'm just managing it, right? So. But we have a standard of excellence, and that's how we like to walk everything out. So we're not perfect, but there's a lot of people in our area and beyond that seem to love us very much so and get a lot of value. So I just showed you that because as I was kind of cleaning up the tools and everything, and I said it before, I gave you a keyword, management. That's the law of management, and actually the first law that the manufacturer, that the King, Christ, implemented in his creation of mankind. And I think it's Genesis, which means in the beginning, chapter 2. But anyway, so Adam, which means the species of mankind, male plus female equals mankind, was given two laws. Do not eat of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, and then don't eat of the tree of life. Those are the only two laws that the Lord gave him. You know, two. That's it, right? You go to work. You know, you have a job. You have a business. You know, you got all these rules and regulations and ordinances and dealing with government and all that stuff like that, right? Policies and corporations, all this stuff, all this rigmarole, all this red tape, as people will call it, right? And I'm sure you already know by now that codes, ordinances, and rules and regulations are not law. Law trumps them all, right? Okay, so why did I say that? Because if you remember what I said before previously, the Bible is not a religious book. It's a law-based book. It's a government book, right? So that means you and I fit in that government. That's the whole reason why we were put in this body and given the soul, right, and put on this earth, which leads to the 5 most important questions. Okay, I said that because of this. Everybody, most likely, I'm sure, hopefully you do, believe that cleanliness is imperative. It shouldn't be a luxury. Cleaning should be necessary, right? Like you have 2 types of spending, 2 types of investing, 2 types of everything called wants, and then you have needs. As you guys already know, you know the difference between wants and needs. You know, wanting something, I want to do this, but I need to do this, right? So you guys get the difference. So, okay, so when you buy a vacuum, a lot of times it just comes with the unit, right? And then you have the parts and you have the manual, okay? So the idea that I got as I was cleaning them out, and I was like, well, wait a minute. When we all were first born, okay, when we were all, well, let me back up. When we all were first conceived means one idea, one thought, okay? So our mom and dad didn't see us, right? But the king, he ordained or predestined us to be born at a specific time because we have a specific talent, ability, and we're a specific solution to a specific problem in our generation. Okay, I'm sure you guys would agree with that, right? Just put 1 in the chat box if you agree with that you do have at least one gift in you and you are a solution to at least one problem in your generation. Okay, you are the key. Yes, me. You are the key. I don't care what your past, present, and future, I didn't say president, but present or future entails. Whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, whether you act on it or not, you are a solution to a problem in your generation. Okay, that's why you were born. You wouldn't have been born, right? Okay. Now here's why I hopped on here. So we know that the manufacturer is the creator of a product, right? And so when we're born, excuse me, I've been outside for quite some time, guys. So stuff flying everywhere and stuff. So when we were born with a clean slate, right? Now, when I say clean slate, I'm talking about spiritually. See, one thing you got to pick up when you hear my podcast, you got to say, all right, ask yourself this, okay? See, that's how you think. That's how you exercise your brain. Your brain is a muscle, right? And one of the reasons why people's muscles, their brain slows down outside of all the other stuff that we're being bombarded with toxins and stuff in the air and food and water and everything like that, and that these people are attacking us with from all from everywhere, multinational corporations, even some of the best brands that you like. We're being attacked from everywhere. Government here, government from over there, all over the place, right? If you do a little bit of due diligence, just basic due diligence, you'll see we're being attacked from all over the place because the end game is for us to give up the ghosts, right? Including your kids, right? Get them out of here, right? It's called eugenics, okay? Eugenics, EUGENICS. You should look that up, okay? But whether you believe this or not, know this or not, you're the enemy, right? And you say, what did I do? I know you were born. I was born. That's being the enemy, okay? So let me get back. Let me reel this back in. So what I was thinking about is that when we were born with a clean slate. Okay, so spiritually, We're not held accountable. We're a baby, right? God can't hold us accountable for just being an infant, a baby, right? So we are born into a matrix, a world system of thinking that believes a lot of things that we know inside aren't contrary. So as a child, we are still connected because we're not contaminated. Listen to me now. We're not contaminated in our spirit yet with the Creator. So guess what? Little kids do certain things and he's connecting with their spirit. So you got to remember that you're a spirit first. You have a soul when you live in the body. You always got to remember that. I have to continue to remind myself that, okay? And then secondly, our minds have a clean slate also too, right? So with the vacuum example, it just comes in the unit, right? With the unit, right? With the wheels and the bottom and everything like that. And then you got the hose and everything. You got to attach the hose. You got to attach the arm, and you got to attach the little accessories or the amenities to the vacuum, right? Okay. So since we have a clean slate spiritually, since we have a clean slate mentally or soulfully, and then a lot of times, most of the time, most kids are born, with everything intact. Okay. Now, some of the kids obviously aren't born with things intact. Some of them may be missing an eye, a limb, so on and so forth, and that comes from the fall of our forefather Adam by him sinning and rebelling. Spiritual death, as I said before, was translated or affected all of us that came through the womb. Okay, so when you pull up that vacuum, you have to assemble all the right parts together, right? If the right parts don't make that click, they don't come together. So here's why I hopped on here. So the thought process, the strongholds that we have in our mind, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, are basically what we picked up from our environment. So what do we need to do to change our environment? What do we need to do? I know there's always things in our life that we say we can improve on. There's things that I can improve on every single area of our life, of my life. And I'm sure you can say the same thing for yourself. So I got to thinking about, when we if we apply what they call the law of input and output. Number one, we have to assess where we are right now, because how are you going to know where you're going if you don't know where you are, right? That's one of the big things I learned, right? Where you need to go or where you want to go. So whether it be financially, whether it be relationship wise, whether it be, pick it marriage wise, whatever it is, my whole thing is that focus on one small thing at a time, step by step, because a lot of times, see, if we get overwhelmed, what I learn, and if I get overwhelmed, I don't take action, right? And most people don't, and if they do take action, then they're kind of like all over the place. So it's just getting dark out here real quick. So again, I just want to hop on here real quick and share that with you. Obviously, where you are, depending upon how old you are and what you've been through and everything like that, it doesn't have to stay the same. Okay, you don't have to stay the same. Okay, so if you want to change, I'm here to help you any way, shape, form I can. I do in the future have a book coming out, and I'll keep you guys posted on that. And I'm working on some other ideas also too. So I see you guys this Tuesday, 7 p.m. And remember, your future is not ahead of you. It's actually trapped on the inside of you in the form of a seed. You just have to get it in the right environment and cap as much negative as you can and increase the positive, and watch your life take off like a rocket. You guys have a great evening, a great night, a great weekend, and make it a great day.